And joining us on the line, great to welcome to Flow for the first time. Going to have a good chat with this girl, Alex Hosking. G'day, Alex. How you doing today?
Hi, good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure. Welcome back to the country, I guess. So how's life back in Oz at the moment?
It's my favourite place to be. I love being back home in Australia, especially Adelaide. All my friends and family are here, so it feels like a camping trip. As soon as I hop off the plane, I just like this big, deep breath, and I'm just walking, and it's the best feeling ever. I love being in major cities, but being back home in Adelaide just feels like so comfortable.
Well, Alex, how's it been over the last couple of years with the travel restrictions and the pandemic and all that? How have you sort of coped, and how have you managed to still keep that Adelaide connection and getting back? How's it all worked for you?
Yeah, look, it hasn't been easy. I wouldn't say it's been easy for anybody. I had to stay in places for a lot longer than I would have normally, and definitely missed those regular trips back home to Adelaide. So it's just been so nice. I feel like I appreciate this trip even more so. And that time, I think every time I leave, I appreciate being back here and what we have here in Australia. So definitely it was a bit of a roller coaster, and having the success of the songs through the pandemic was very interesting. No one expected any of that to happen, but we just adapt and we keep moving forward, and that's the best we can really do, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. And so when you came back this time, did you find that friends and family were sort of hugging you a little bit tighter?
Well, once I had done all my COVID tests and they were sure that I didn't have COVID, then yes, they were.
They
were. They're like, you're not allowed to go.
Yeah, all the testing and all that, we've got to do that. And has that had any effect on your voice at all, with all the, the possibility of COVID and all the things that you got to do? Has that had any? Have you noticed any effect?
Absolutely, no, none at all. Like
Okay.
I've actually, I've been, lucky. I've had COVID twice and didn't actually have any symptoms really, and I was just really quite lucky with that. So. Which is really fortunate. So I haven't noticed any issues. So hopefully, touch wood, that continues like that. Exactly.
Well, a singer I spoke to recently, they had noticed that their voice was a little deeper now than it was before. They'd actually come down, which they were happy about, and because but there was just one of the things that they had noticed. So I was just curious to know with you as well.
Yeah, no, nothing. I've heard some people have lost taste buds for ages, and everything tastes like like petrol or something horrible, like different things like that. So no, I've been lucky.
Yes, well, they said about the taste and all that, and after having COVID, I thought it might improve my wife's cooking, but it hasn't. But there you go.
Your wife's going to hear this.
That's all right. I'll deal with the pain another way, but that's okay. So tell me, Alex, what do you miss most about, you say you love Adelaide, so what do you miss most about Adelaide when you're overseas?
I think my mum's cooking. Last night, I'm actually prepping to go back overseas, and last night she made my favourite, and it's not like it's a massive special dish, it's just pasta, spaghetti bolognese, and I know that's a bit of a basic, but it's just my favourite, and no one can make it as good as my mum, and it's like comfort food.
Understand that, yes, mum's cooking.
Mum's cooking.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Totally understand.
I think the other thing that I love is that I'm a really big hiker. I go for walks all the time. I do Lofty and all of the trails around that area, and I do that pretty much every morning. I wake up pretty early and do that, and that's you don't get to see nature, and you don't get all the animals and stuff jumping around. Yep. Kangaroos was what I was envisioning just then as I said jumping around. Yep. But you just don't have that anywhere else in the world, to be able to see that amount of animals and just to be able to go for hikes like that so close to the cities. So that's something that I really miss every time I go overseas, is just being able to get out and do things like that.
So when you're out on your hikes, do ideas for songs come through to you?
Sometimes when I'm trying to struggle for a breath up a mountainside. It's more me just trying to make it through the hike. But no, sometimes I do for sure. It's definitely my Zen spot, which I absolutely love.
Well, onto your song. We've got a new song from you we're going to be hearing shortly. But onto your songwriting process, how does it work for you? Does it lyrics come first? Is it a melody? Does it happen at all sorts of odd hours? So how does it work for you?
Definitely happens at all odd, like random hours. Like I'm definitely known for waking up in the middle of the night. My partner absolutely hates it, and I'll be like singing into my voice notes, a different idea at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. But no, normally I think like a melody comes, or sometimes on the way to like the studio, I'll have like a couple of lyric ideas and write them down. It varies every single day. It's always different. But yeah, it's a funny one. It's like the chicken and the egg situation. You never really know what's going to happen first.
When you're saying it happens in the middle of the night, I spoke to someone recently who that had happened to them, where they got an idea and they sang it into their phone, and they didn't realise. And then when they woke up in the morning and then they heard it, and they couldn't believe what they were listening to because it didn't sound like them. So you haven't had any sort of weird experiences like that?
The weirdest of those experiences that I've had is that I have thought that the idea was absolutely brilliant, and then I've woken up and realised that actually sometimes my 3 a.m. ideas aren't as fantastic as I think they are. They're quite repetitive and sound like mumbles.
Yeah. Well, there's something that sometimes that's okay. Depending on the song, sometimes that's okay.
That's it.
Now, with the new song "Need Your Love," now you ended up teaming up with Majestic. So, can you tell us a bit about how that all happened?
Yeah, so it's a funny story actually. I've always been a big fan of Majestic. He's a specialist when it comes to house music, and I've absolutely loved working with him. And so it was a weird stage. Australia hadn't gone fully into lockdown yet, and the UK hadn't gone into lockdown yet. It was just one of those in-between stages. And my song Fake Friends had just started to blow up in the UK, so I decided to fly over there. And my first session booked in was with Majestic, and he lives a little bit further out of London. So I travelled all the way out to see him a couple of hours, and my email said, message him when you get there and he'll come pick you up. And so I messaged him and he goes, oh, I thought you had the mumps. I've booked in another session. And I've got like 5 other people here to work with. And so he goes, don't worry, I'll come pick you up, come hang out and we'll just see what we can do. And we ended up having the most fun. It was just the best day. We went and got food and we wrote a song and everybody just hung out. And then at the end, we were just showing music. And he said, Alex, what's your next single? And I said, I love this song. I just, needs a bit more production. And he goes, send me the stems right now. And I sent them to him. And then the rest was history, which was so cool. But the funny thing is we almost didn't have a session.
Yeah, wow. Well, it was meant to be. It was meant to be.
It was.
And so the song, it's out now. Now, I want to ask you about the acoustic video that you've done for it.
Yeah.
And which just you and the piano, which I think is absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you.
But before you tell me a bit more about that, what is it about the artwork in the background? Do you have a connection to that?
I do. So I filmed the video clip for the acoustic version actually in Adelaide with some amazing local artists that got involved with it. And the beautiful paintings in the background belong to my sister, so I'm very proud of those. She's an incredible artist that does lots of bits and pieces, and she actually sneakily put one up. If you've seen the clip, there's one with me in a blue wig in the background.
Yes, I'll ask you that, and you've answered it for me, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, so she's so awesome. She's so fantastic, and I loved being able to collaborate with her. We set up the stage. It's actually in my parents' home. We set it all up, and the walls looked very bare. And my sister and my boyfriend quickly got a bunch of those double-sided tapes and stuck up a bunch of her paintings behind it. It just ended up looking so perfect. We've actually ended up keeping all the paintings there because it looked amazing. So it worked out well.
Well, we should let everyone know your sister's name too.
So my sister's name's Olivia Hosking, and she's an amazing local artist, and she's just fantastic. So definitely go check her out on Instagram because she's I might be biased, but I think she's amazing.
And she's got a website too, oliviahosking.com, folks, so check her out. And the artwork is quite amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And yeah, the one of you in the blue hair, I did think that, so good on her for that. So why did you do the acoustic version? Was that something you've always wanted to do? And I'm just sort of curious as to why you decided to do that.
Yeah, so the reason for why I did the acoustic version, I always love to do acoustic stripped backs of all of my songs. And I think that it's really important to me. I think a good tell of a great song is that it can stand by itself.
Yeah.
So, I'm a dance artist. I add all of these amazing productions to all of my songs. And I really do think that I love that. That for me, making everybody dance is fantastic. But a good song can stand on its own, and I write my songs on the piano, and if they sound good on the piano, if they sound good on the guitar, then they'll sound good with a whole bunch of production. And normally it's a telltale sign for me. If it doesn't sound good on the piano, then it's probably not good enough to release.
Yep.
So the acoustic versions are always super important to me. I love stripped back music, and I love that. So it's just part of that process.
Who taught you to play the piano?
I actually am self-taught, and I'm actually, my fingers look fantastic again in the video clip.
Yep.
He did a great job of that, but I definitely wouldn't call myself a pianist. It's very, very, very self-taught. I'm super dyslexic, so all my piano teachers ended up quitting on me as a kid, and I just taught myself and have taught myself enough to be able to write songs, which, at the end of the day, that's all I need.
So when you're writing at the piano, how are you hearing the music? Are you hearing it just as a sound in your head or as a colour?
Sometimes I see the colour thing. Like I'll know, like there is a little bit of that going on with some of my songs, and I'll be able to even just, I think it's more of a chordal thing. Like some chords are going to sound a little bit darker and other chords sound so much lighter. So that definitely happens, and then the melody just sort of comes, and it's a weird process. Like I don't know how that happens, and it's the same thing with my sister with painting. You couldn't, if my life depended on it, I could not save myself with a painting or a drawing. Yeah. I'm a stick figures. I can't do anything. Same with dancing, but writing a song, it just happens and it just comes, and it's just such a funny process, and I almost, you can't even claim it because it just happens.
There's nothing wrong with it. If it works, you just go with it, girl. You just go with it. Yeah. So, Alex, what's next for you? You're back here. You said that you're getting ready to head back overseas. So are we heading towards an EP, an album, or what's coming up for you next?
Yep. So got a bunch more music coming out this year, which I'm so excited about. So I'm going overseas to keep that process going, doing some gigs overseas, come back and do some over here, and just start releasing more and more music. Now that everything's starting to open up, makes things so much easier, which is fantastic. So, just lots more music, and I just can't wait. I just can't wait to see it out there and hear it on the radio. It's so cool.
That it is. And so you mentioned gigs back here. So when are you likely to be doing some shows back here?
I'm hoping through the summertime. That's my plan and my goal. So I hope everything continues to stay this way, and I'll be back in the summer and getting to do some shows, which will be fun.
I'm thinking you down at Glenelg New Year's Eve would go off.
I'm thinking that sounds like a really fun idea, actually.
Well, I'm thinking about it because I just think and the folks are going to hear your song in a sec and they'll understand why I mean it. But when they hear that, and you mentioned about the dancing and all that, how did you get into dance music? Was it the Spice Girls?
Oh, it was 100% the Spice Girls. I'm actually getting my hair and makeup done right now for some music awards, the APRA Music Awards, and we're putting some Spice Girl inspired makeup on right now. So I feel like everyone has different genres, right? And you listen to certain artists if you want to feel something for people who've gone through a breakup or, whatever the mood that they might be in. And for me, it's just all about Friday night. It's a good time. It's a good vibe. You just want to let loose. Maybe you've had a bad week. You're not loving your boss. And that's the sort of music that I just love to make. And it's part of my personality, I think, of just who I am. I was always the class clown and wanting to have a bit of fun and always, loving having a couple of drinks with my mates on the weekend. So it just makes sense that dance music is what I do.
And it is enjoyable, and it's good to hear, and it's been going for a long time. And I know when my wife has a bit of a rough day, often when I'll get home and I'll hear ABBA on, so I know, she's had a bit of a rough one, and she's just done, so I totally get it. I
love that.
Well, Alex, it's been great chatting to you. Good luck with everything. Hopefully we can we chat again another time when you've got another new song out, or maybe you're back here in Adelaide, and we could get you in our studio. I'd love to have you here as well.
Ooh, I would love that. I'd love that, absolutely.
I'll make sure there's a frog cake here ready for you if you do. So.
You have to. Yes, please.
There might be a few of them because there's a few frog cake fans here. So Yeah, you might have to fight for them, I feel. But anyway, that's another story. Alex, it has been great chatting to you. Good luck with everything. Thank you so much for spending time with us today on Flow. We've got your new song here ready to go. If you could please introduce it for us.
Hey, I'm Alex Hosking, and this is my new song, Need Your Love, on Flow.
Sometimes I wonder if I had to, could I ever let you go? Go, 'cause there's no other. Do you feel the same? I really gotta know. No, oh baby, say you want this just as bad as I do. Yeah, I really want you up in all my business. Tell me that you feel this too. I need your love. Say you love me 'cause it's all we got. We got. I need your love. Say you want me 'cause it's all we got. We got. I need your love. Let you go. You feel the same. Let you go. Let you go. I know I'm meant to be with you and have a blast and have a ball. We'll have it all. And yes, it is you. You take me there and tie me down. I lose control. All my control. Say you want this just as bad as I do. Yeah, I really want you up in all my business. Tell me that you feel this too. I need your love. Say you love me 'cause it's all we got. We got. I need your love. Say you want me 'cause it's all we got. We got. I need your love. Let you go. You feel the same. Let you go. Let you. There's no other. Let you go. Let you go. You feel the same. Let you go. Let you. There's no other. Say you want this just as bad as I do.